This is Recovery Lifestyles with Carmel. Recovery Lifestyles is committed to raising awareness and ending stigmas surrounding addiction and mental health. On today's show, I'll be speaking with Erika Mitchell, who lives in Pasadena, Newfoundland. After a trauma that happened when she was a teenager, Erika thought she had found peace and could be normal after trying drugs, but that quickly changed. She lost everything and soon found herself homeless and addicted to MDMA, crack, meth, ketamine, and her choice of drug, heroin. Erika shares with us how she has been saved by the grace of God and how she is committing her second chance to life by helping anyone suffering with addiction and mental health. Hey, Erika, how's it going today?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It's super rainy here in Edmonton. How's it where you're at?
We actually have a sunny day for once.
Oh, wow.
23 degrees out there.
And you're in Newfoundland?
Yeah.
Awesome. So tell the audience a little bit more about who you are. Tell us about your story, because you got a good one.
Really, I starts all the way back till I would begin in high school, just when I was getting bullied. And it's like I remember the day like pretty clearly, actually. Like I went and seen these guys that were my friends, and when I was there, I remember him taking out his penis and slapping my face, and his friend there laughing about it. And at that time, that's when pretty much before that, I loved my school. I grew up and I had a good family. And before that, I was really happy. And the next day when I woke up after that, everybody was calling me a slut because of that, and saying I had STDs, and I didn't know how to handle it either. So I confided in a friend, and I thought I was in the wrong. Like it made me feel like I was in the wrong. And that's when I had to change schools, and I had to change schools, and I went to a Catholic school then, and the Catholic school, I just started meeting bad people and going along with whatever they would want to do. And you know what I mean? Like I didn't say no because I didn't want to say no after that. Like I just.
Yeah, it sounds like you had a lot of fear. And how old were you at the time?
At that time I was in grade 7. So I was about 15.
Yeah, so that's pretty young. I mean, and probably pretty alarming to have a boy do that, which when I think back to that time they'd be like, oh, just boys are boys, right? But the impact of what it is doing to your psyche, to your emotional well-being, your spiritual well-being, we're now starting to understand the implications of that. And I feel like you're so brave to just come right out and share that, because most people would not want to share that. And so thank you for doing that. And yeah, I mean, so tell us, how did the trajectory of that experience impact you along the way?
Well, at the time too, I didn't really tell my mom. To this day, I still don't. She knows I got bullied, but she really don't know what, because I was so ashamed of it too. And
she might now.
Yeah, yeah, she might know now. Yeah,
you might want to call her.
Yeah. And tell her what I.
Yeah, you're telling national.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that affected me, because then even later on, I got into a relationship, and it was a very abusive relationship, and I didn't want to tell nobody. And then I remember even telling someone then, and they were like, "He don't seem like that. He seems like a very nice guy." So then I'm thinking oh my God, is this all going to be turned around on me? Is this going to be my fault? Is the way he's acting towards me my fault? And just all these things, it wasn't my fault. I don't know, right? And that it took a long time to really feel and I don't even feel comfortable in a relationship even to this day. To have someone connect it to me is I don't know if their intentions are right or their intentions are wrong. So I find it very even hard for this day get into a relationship and trust somebody, like, you know?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
And obviously that took you on a road of addiction as a way to numb the pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's so cool now that you're on this healing journey and have had this amazing experience that I would love for you to share with everybody, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that as you continue this journey that you will get to a place, but you're right. I mean, it really robs you of your,
yeah. And I think that's why, like, I did numb the pain, like, in my addiction, like, you know, because it started with like when my boyfriend died and my best friend died, and then I kind of just went, like, I was drinking every night, and then it turned into meeting more people. I met this older guy who was old enough to be my dad's age, and he had money, and I stayed with him because he had money and he could supply the drugs. And eventually we did run out of money though, and I was living in like a trap house. If not, I was homeless, and we were, you know, going from place to place. I remember we stayed at this Airbnb that was like $30 a night just because we had nowhere to stay, and we had the $30, but we bought our drugs too. Like, and if we didn't have enough money for a room and drugs, we wouldn't get the room, we'd get the drugs. Yeah, and at first it was like we were staying in nice hotels and all this. And so I remember thinking, how did nice fancy hotels turn into nowhere? Like the street, the outdoors, like under bridge. Like, I don't know how that turned in, like how one extreme goes to another, like, you know?
Yeah, and so a lot of people listening might not know what a trap house is. So do you want to explain that one?
It's like, well, it's a house pretty much where, I guess, I don't know who pays for it. I guess whoever's I don't know who pays for it.
The trap owner?
The trap owner? Yeah.
The trap line owner. I know a little bit about this. So what's a trap line? Go for it.
I guess it's the people selling the drugs, because there's usually drug dealers come in there, they stop by there, they'll sell everybody that's there the drugs, or there's a drug dealer there, and you're you know.
Sounds glamorous.
Yeah, and I remember this place, and all that was in there was like a little old couch, and then nothing, just, you know, that was all that was in there. And then everyone was sitting on the floors, one person over here, one person there, and yeah.
So was that your bottom?
Yeah, that was my bottom. Yeah, that was definitely my bottom. I even remember I was gonna try a needle, and I remember going to try it, and I remember then getting it, and I said no, but it pricked my hand, it went in my hand, I hauled my hand away, and I was like, and I don't know what came over me too, but I was just like, no, I can't do that, right? I'll just smoke it, like. But that did scare me, because I would see people, as soon as they would do that, like, because there's people around me doing it, they would just, you know, be passed out. And I was scared to, like, get to the point where, like, you know, I have been to that point before where I'm, like, kind of unconscious, and, like, and I've seen people overdose there, and that's just so scary. And that's what, like, after a while of just seeing people overdose over and over again, that's what made me be like, I have to get out of here, or I'm going to be next. Because there's many a times where I had to go run and put my head under cold water, because I thought I would, like, you know, I didn't feel well, or I was like, it's even giving me shiveries right now thinking about it. Just, you know what I mean? Just the pain I was really in, and like, and I didn't care. Like, I remember I hadn't called, me and my parents were really close growing up, and I hadn't even talked to them now for, like, at that point in my life, for like 6 months, like, you know, and they would call me over and over again, like, and I would turn off my phone. Like, it's like I didn't even own a phone, because I had no interest in that. Like, I was completely disconnected from the rest of the world, and I was just, you know, there. Like, that was, you know, that was what I'd wake up. If I slept, I mean, I'd go for days. The only time I'd sleep is when I would actually physically pass out. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about who you are today. I mean, there's obviously, I can hear when you're speaking, there's a lot more to come, but where you have come from is incredible. And so share with us that journey. What what happened? How did it happen, and where you are today?
Well, I got sick of being sick, and finally I found a wonderful doctor who, because I kept asking for help, and I just couldn't find it, because to find help with addiction is so hard because the stigma around it is horrible. And I was so scared to like come out and tell everybody that, you know, I'm addicted to opiates, I'm addicted to drinking, I'm addicted to cocaine, I'm addicted to all of these things. But finally, and when I actually first went to a nurse who tried to prescribe me Demerol to come off morphine, and I just thought that's not the kind of help I need.
Yeah.
Right?
Another addiction.
Yeah. I'm already addicted to that. Like, that's not the kind of help I needed. So finally I did find a doctor here in Newfoundland who's pretty amazing. He bought his own plane to fly around Newfoundland to help people with opiate addiction. And
that's incredible. Yeah. I mean, this man sounds incredible. Yeah. Right? I mean, and most of us here in the recovery world are not even aware of this. This is somebody who just has a passion and wants to help and goes and buys an airplane to go help addicts. Like, that's pretty wild. Yeah.
Yeah. And I, even today, like, I always thank him every time I go and have to go have a doctor's appointment with him. I just, you know, I'm so like blessing it. Like, he's a blessing. He really is. He really saved my life. He literally called me back the same day I called him, and you know, he said, what do you have left on you? He said, like, he's like, I promise you, you're gonna feel better by the middle of the week, like, you will. And so, you know, I took trust in him. And I took trust, and I did. So I didn't do that morphine. Well, I kind of was already high that time when I was speaking to him, and then the next day I went and got my Suboxone, and I was nervous to take the Suboxone. I don't know why. I thought that was so crazy. Like, I'm nervous to take a Suboxone when I've been taking morphine now forever, right? It just doesn't.
Yeah, I think it's like another drug. So it is. It's scary. I can remember thinking back right now to my time, and opiates are so hard to withdraw from. And it's like, okay, so you're going to give me this to help with withdrawal, but what happens when the withdrawal starts happening, right? And this isn't working anymore. And it's like, it's a whole new, it's hard on the head, for sure.
It really is, yeah. But in a couple of days, he was right. I did feel better. And at this point, I was living in Pasadena, and I had known friends at St. John's, actually, who had already been in recovery. One had 2 years and one had 7 months. And so they offered me to come out to St. John's and to try and help me get involved in like the community and everything. So I came out here, and they brought me to church, and I got involved there a lot. And the pastor is actually a recovering addict, the pastor who teaches the church. And when he speaks, he really touches your heart, because yeah, I've had trouble with churches before with, like judgment, and I've had an abortion before, and I've been judged and shamed for that. And so that's also pushed me out. But, I do realize today that, not everybody's like that. Just, there is some bad, but that's the people, that's not the church, right? Yeah. And so
there's a huge stigma with the church as well. I think why I'm connected with you so quickly, or have connected with you so quickly, is that early on in recovery, you immediately got it. Yeah. It took me over a decade to get it. So I'm just really excited about what you're going to do, what God's going to do within you, right?
Yeah. I know. And that's something I have learned today, is just, I have to hand my will over to him and kind of just let him, whatever's meant to happen. I believe that now I'm on the right track and the right journey. It's really going to happen, because it has been happening. Like, I've had like the past 4 months, I'm 4.5 months clean now, and I just feel amazing. I feel amazing. I have a house over my head. It's just all these small things are very big blessings to me right now, and I appreciate all of them so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like it's just amazing what can happen in such a short period of time. Like I remember that the first time I walked into an AA meeting, because I also do AA and NA. I was crying in tears. I could hardly speak. And now it's a joy for me to go to a meeting. I love going to a meeting, right? Like I love going in there and and everybody, and now I can see other people grow too, like, you know what I mean? And because everyone tells me when I speak now, they're like, wow, you've grown, right? That was not when I walked in here 4.5 months ago, right?
You have a voice now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just instant waterworks.
I can actually say stuff, and I'm proud of myself. That's a one thing. I'm actually proud of myself, and I feel like I'm gonna be okay. Like I still have a lot of growing to do. I'll always have growing to do. That's the way I see it. I'll never know everything. I can grow every day, no matter how much I grow. But I feel like I'm gonna be okay, and I feel like I'm on the right track, and I feel like the path that I'm on, like, I have to work at it every day. Yes, yeah. I do. But, as long as I work at it every day, and, I will get it. Like, it's just so exciting.
I mean, I'm excited for you. And I'm also excited about the work that you're going to be doing with Recovery Lifestyles with me and writing. And,
yeah, so super excited for that too. My friend, because I always love to share my story, because that's something I'm so passionate about now. Like, I really want, because I feel like that was for me when I was so sick. I was looking at other people's like stories on Instagram and how they got better, and I'm like, well, they can do it. Maybe I can do it. Like. And I feel like that's to break the stigma. Like, I feel like the stigma needs to be broken so, other people can recover too, because that's the biggest part about, nobody wants to come out with this, because everyone's going to be judged and shamed, especially people with kids, because then people with kids are scared their kids are going to get taken away, or, and it's just all these different factors why people don't want to come out and get better.
Yeah. That's exactly it. And that is literally the basis of why I do what I do, right? And have women like you come on and join my team, because that's where the power is. That's where we get free, is when we start sharing our stories. And trust me, there's still a lot of my story I have not shared, there's just so much because of that shame and stigma. So I'm on the journey too. Even though I have almost 15 years of sobriety, it's like, it's still a journey, but I call it walking in freedom, right? I am walking in freedom today. And so if there's anyone out there listening that, I don't know, there's something on your heart, let's go this direction. If there's something on your heart right now that you just feel you really need to share with somebody that might be struggling out there, what would it be?
It would just be like, no matter where you're to in your life right now, like there is always gonna be like, there's always a way to get out of it. Like, like you don't have to struggle alone, because you're not alone. And when I walked in and I seen this sign, and it stuck with me. It was my first AA meeting, and it's like, you're not alone anymore. Like that, when I read that, that really went to my heart, because I wasn't alone anymore. And there is people out there who are gonna, who will take you and help you and get you back to life. Like, you just need love to get back to life. And the like people who are recovering too, they are going to give you that love. Like, they understand we might not have the same journey, but we do have the same feelings along that journey, and the same feelings. Yeah, we have the same feelings along that journey. And I feel like we can love each other back to life.
I 100% agree with you. I love that. Loving each other back to life. I always thought of, loving, I'm going to love you until you can love yourself, right? I'm going to teach you, but I love how you just stated it. That's awesome. Yeah. So, Erika, we're already like at the end of our time today. I was like, that was really fast.
It was super fast.
Yeah, but I look forward to connecting you with all the other women out there who, maybe where you were 4.5 months ago, and get to hear your experience and your strength and your hope right now. And it's just so incredible. And Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm so excited just to get to know you more. And yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll chat soon.
Okay.